Hey, so how are you doing? I hope this video greets you well on today. And I thank so much for you coming by. And let's start with our top-down analysis of Euro USD. And so on the charts, we do see, starting on the monthly chart here, that price has been trending downward. So it is in a bearish trend here. All right, and so on my charts, the white candles are bullish and the red candles are bearish, okay? And so you will understand that as you see everything here on the chart. And so currently in the market here, we do see that the market is moving downwardly. And so we can project that price will move here to this area here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get a horizontal line here and place it right here. And we'll lock that. And then we're going to look at the chart as well, because we do see that price is moving downward here. All right. And I want to take a closer look here as well, because even though price has been trending downward, and we're going to go ahead and for the monthly chart, grab this here and we're going to grab it from right here. All right. And we're doing this for a reason. All right, so we did see where price is moving downward and that the trend line is touching the peaks there. And then price broke through in this area here, indicating that instead of having a lower high, that price was trying to have move beyond that trend area, okay? All right, so we want to make sure we acknowledge that. Most definitely. And so when you take a closer look at the market here. All right, so price did move a little bit out of the bearish trending range. All right, so it did move a little bit higher in this area. And so we want to make sure we're going to grab a horizontal line and look at this here. And as you see, it almost, not quite, but almost, all right, almost was equal to the previous higher high. But it didn't make it, so it's still a lower high, all right? It's still a lower high, all right? And so if you see this area here, and when we're looking at it, we do see it did begin trending down a little, and then it moved back up, and then we had another high here, and it's moving down. And so now this is a lower high as well, but it's only by a very small amount. All right. So we want to look at that and acknowledge that as well. But price is still moving downward here. And so I want to make sure that we're looking at this is because we do see here when you're looking at, because this is most definitely a higher high. I mean a higher low as well. Look at the higher lows. Look at the lows. And so this is most definitely a higher low in this area than this area here. All right. And even if you look at, let's see here, pull everything here together. I'm placing a lot of, all right, so placing everything together here. We have that lower low here, and then it trended upward, and when it did move down, we had it's a higher low here. Okay. All right, and you see there is a higher low here, but there's still a break. And we're looking at this break here. And I don't want this to be too intricate for you, but I just want to make acknowledgments about what's going on in the market. All right, and that circle is not where I wanted it. So we're cleaning that up. All right, there we are. So we're going to put it around that, and placing it around that candle there. All right, and so let's make it a lot larger so we can see it, all right? All right, so we see that this candle here is outside the trend area, all right, the trend line area. All right, so, and the reason I'm stating this is because I have the trend line. Let's look at our trend lines, okay? We have the trend line drawn here because the market was moving lower lows and higher lows, all right? So it's a bearish market, and that was this trend line here, all right? And so with this trend line, let's just make that a red trend line, all right? So we'll know that was bearish, okay? Now let's thicken it up a little so we can acknowledge that. And then I'll also write that on here. All right, so we have that here. So this is a bearish trend line, all right? All right, and so when the market here began moving upward and we see higher highs, all right, in this area here, we're going to acknowledge this area as our change in the market. And so it began moving bullishly. All right. So we have that bullish trend line there, right? And so we're going to make this, let's change this color to green. All right. And so let's see here. All right. So that's what we're looking at now. And so what we're going to do is look at this area here and then going back here. And so this broke this trend line. All right. So the question that we have is the market going to continue in a bearish pattern? All right. So looking at this trend line here, because the market was moving bearishly, and right here is where it broke and it began moving higher highs, higher lows, all right? But then all of a sudden here, this is equal, well, this is almost equal to this over here, but this is a slightly lower. So this could be a correction and it's moving back downward, all right? So I don't want that to be confusing. And so what I'm going to do is go back and explain this one more time, all right? So initially, the market, let's go in here, was moving bearishly. All right. And so we have our trend line here drawn. But with the trend line, you see in this area that price moved beyond the trend line and the market began having higher highs and higher lows. All right. So the market changed from a bearish trend to a bullish trend. And we had, this is the area where the change took place. And you see we have an engulfing candle there as well. All right. So the market did change right there. But then drawing our trend line from where the change took place for the higher highs and higher lows for a bullish market, we do see here that the candle that we're looking at for this month has broken the trend line, okay, for the bullish trend. So the question is this just a correction in the market and the continuation of the bearish trend will continue? And so the market would continue trending downward. So that's the question. But what we are going to do, we have our trend lines drawn so that we can see, hey, is this going to continue moving downward here? All right. Or will it continue moving upward? All right. So that's the monthly. All right. So let's go to our weekly chart. so that's the area that I circled on the monthly chart. All right, so we do see where price is trending down here. All right, and it's actually close to what we have our support area here, which is this area, this line here. All right, so let's just go to our daily chart. All right, here we are. So looking at the daily chart, we do see that price is moving bearishly. We have lower lows and lower highs here, right? And so in this area up here where price, let's see here, where price here had broken the trend line. Let's go ahead and draw a trend line from here to here. All right. There we are. Now we're actually on the daily chart, so we can see a more specific view of what the candles were indicating to us on the larger time frame. Okay, so now we're on a smaller time frame, and so we can see more of the movement of the candles for the daily. So what was going on daily, all right, versus monthly or versus weekly. All right, so we're on this daily chart here. All right, so price did break here, and so we are experiencing lower lows and lower highs, all right, on the daily chart, which is really awesome. So it did break that as well. And so let's go down to the 4-hour chart. And then also to acknowledge, let me go back to the daily chart just quickly. Also to acknowledge for the daily, bearishly as well, all right? And so going to the 4-hour chart. Let's see how many pips this is. All right, so that's 56 pips. That's not bad, right? All right, so this is where we had drawn our support on the monthly chart, this area here, which is the price 1.17206. All right, so price is continuing to move downward towards support at this point. All right, and so what we can do, that's the 4-hour chart. All right, so we do see here where this chart here, so we did see here where price did exhaust in this area on the 1-hour chart. It began to retrace upwardly and then it moved back downwardly. And so that's on the 1 hour. So what I'm going to do, all right, so I have my Fibonacci here. So we drew the Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point here. And so as you see here where price is currently, it is kind of retracing in that area. And so I actually would see, and looking at this area here, price would probably move up to the 0.618, between the 0.618 and the 0.5, and move downwardly from that point to around the 1.618. All right, and so that's what I'm looking at here, because I do see that doji, I see a spinning top, and so I want to see where price is going next. All right, so I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time on the charts. Yeah, so let's wait and see what price is going with Euro USD. Have a beautiful day. Thanks.